In 2017, I made my first 6 figures on my side business while working my 9 to 5, and it was the most miserable year of my life. I worked 80 hours a week, I slept 4 hours a night, and I hated every second of it. But that's the price that no one talks about. Everybody wants you to start a business, but nobody tells you the reality of what starting a side hustle means, what starting a business means. I've grossed well over $1.5 million on my side hustles over the past 10 years. I've always had a side hustle since I was in middle school. I've always kept a 9 to 5 because I'm a person that I like to take risks, but I like to also play it in a safe zone too. So my risk level may not be as high as maybe somebody who would jump all the way out there and give up a good job or give up a good... A lot of people online tell you to do that. But for me, I had a great job. I was getting paid well, and it was no reason for me to cut that income off. So I used that job as my bank to fund my side hustle. Or I'm what they call a regular guy on the internet. But I'm not really regular in comparison to the national statistics. But what I'm saying is, to all of my 9 to 5 guys out there, to all of my guys working regular jobs, hey man, I'm a believer in hard work. I'm a believer in, hey, if you get a good job with benefits and all of this kind of stuff, hey man, I'm not going to tell you to jump ship, leave everything behind and start this new business, because it's a reason why they say most businesses fail. It's because they do. And running a business takes a very, very special type of individual. And you have to be made and cut from a certain cloth to run your own business. It's not for the weak. And so that's why, because I've been there and I've probably done every type of quick money scheme you could think of for the past 20 years, from the Carlton Sheets real estate to the ATN direct energy and selling phone lines, and to noni juice, to every type of hustle you can think of. I've sold shoes on the side. Back in the day, I used to sell mixtapes. Man, I've had hustles from near and far. I've been searching for 20 years of how to make the fast dollar, because I learned years ago what I'm about to share with you today. And I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it raw with you. I'm just telling you what I've been through. It's not easy working 80 hours a week. I don't know if you've ever done that. Probably a decade working on Christmas, New Year's, holidays. My business. It's my business. It's my baby. I've been cultivating this baby for 10 years. And so out of all of the side hustles that I've done in my entire life, one grossed me well over $1 million. And it was hard, grit, blood, sweat, tears, sleepless nights, stress, fatigue, hurt, pain. I was in a dungeon. But I was, as my business, after years, it takes years for your business to catch on, in most cases. And it takes years even to start really becoming profitable in your business, whether it's side hustle or regular business. It's hard, guys. I've done the MLM schemes, the pyramid schemes. I've done all that years and years ago. I'm glad that I got burnt so many times doing that type of stuff, to where now where I'm at in life, when I see stuff like that, I just laugh, because I learned a long time ago that it ain't no shortcut to getting wealthy. It ain't no shortcut. It takes long, hard work and dedication for a lot of years. Giving up sleep, family time, holidays, birthdays, all of that stuff. That's what they don't tell you. And even with all of that being said and done, it still don't mean you're going to bring in enough to cover your basic needs. And then when you have to eat what you kill, then it becomes even more stressful. That's why I say, this ain't for the weak. So I always like to promote side hustle. I want to get on here and share my side hustle story. I'm going to get into that other stuff on a different video. But as far as my side hustle story and how I grew that side hustle into a six-figure business, I wanted to just share some key tips and points about that based on my real life. Because I know it's a lot of fluff on the internet where people trying to sell you courses telling you you can make $1 million doing this and passive stream. Let me tell you something, man. I haven't tried it all, but I feel like I tried it all, if you know what I'm saying. I've tried a lot of stuff, and what I wish I would have learned a long time ago was just to pick one thing and stick to that one thing until it's successful. I got ADHD. I got so many ideas, so many things that just runs through my mind. I just want to do it all. And it's like I can't let one thing go because I want to do it all. That's how my brain works. But that's going to delay your pathway to success faster. Having that sort of mentality. For me, I'm still battling that. Because that's just how my brain is wired. Because I enjoy working on multiple things. It's not recommended. But that's just how my brain works. And that gives me satisfaction. But what I'm telling you is, if you already know what you want to do, you already would have had me beat by years. Years. Just knowing the one thing you want to do. And then just dive into that. Just deep dive into that, bro. Just get good at that one thing, man. But let that one thing be something that you can also do on the side. Like, my business required me to have woodworking skills. I had no woodworking skills before I started this business. My side hustle. And the item that I build is a very custom item that before I started the business, never cut a piece of wood in my life. So it was a learning curve as I was growing my business. Nobody ever taught me how to use tools. Nobody ever taught me how to use a saw. Nobody ever taught me anything about using tools that are used for building things with wood. I'm all self-taught. And over years and years and years, I've went from working on, a small little projects that I'm trying to sell online to working on $20, $30, $40, $50,000 tables, $20,000 tables out of exotic wood, shipping wood from East Africa and Costa Rica and that sort of thing. All this side hustle stuff. But I knew nothing about woodworking. But my whole life, I've always been a creative. I've always been an artist. I've always loved to create. And so when I picked my one product, now that's the thing I did get right. I picked one item and I perfected that item over a decade. One item. Now this item is customizable. But that's the one thing I did get right. I picked one item. And I introduced other things and I had other side hustles, but that's another video. But the first time I made six figures with this side hustle, still having my job, 9 to 5 income, was 2017. That was probably one of my most depressing years of my life. And I got some of the biggest business during that year. Like, I've worked with the NBA, I've worked with big beer companies, I've worked with all kind of big brands that year. But I was miserable, man. I had no time for nothing. I had no time for life. Some of my partners, one of my guys, he's like my brother. We grew up together. He flew down from out of town, he and his wife, to come hang out with us. I had so much work to do. I couldn't even really sit down and just hang out with my wife. I hadn't seen him in years. But I had an obligation to my customers. A lot of people have it wrong. They think that, I'm going to start my own business so I can be my own boss. Man, when you start your own business, you got a whole lot of bosses. Now, they can't fire you, but you got a whole lot of bosses. And if you want, where we living in a world today where reviews matter, you want to provide the customer with a good experience so that they'll give you a good review, because a lot of business is based on good reviews, especially when it's a high ticket item like the custom item that I build or some of the items that I built over the past years. You have to really give your time, focus, and attention into getting these things done. And then when you're in a creative field, kind of like how I was, we get caught up in the creative part of it, but then when it becomes times to hit deadlines for your customers, then sometimes that creativity, it's hard to be as creative because things get stressful when you then start to put deadlines on your creativity. And that's a tough thing that you have to deal with, especially when you're in a creative business. But it was very hard working and building that business up. I learned a whole lot about myself. I had a lot of friends and family come work with me. I was able to hire a lot of friends and family throughout the process. And I was able to grow closer relationships with family, even turn some family members around just by working with me in the garage building my products. But it was hard and it was a grind. But I took vacations. I bought nice items. I lived in a nice home, still living, bought me a nice home. I've done a lot of things that may look regular to people that don't really understand money and finances and how this thing works. It may look regular, but it was a little above regular. But it took work. It took work. It took sacrifice. And that was laborious. It was a business that I couldn't really scale. And that's another thing. I'm not going to cover here. I don't want this video to go too long, but I just want to jump in here, freestyle off the top of my head. I'm going to do more videos like this just because I wish I had this type of video whenever I was out there kind of doing my thing, trying to figure it out. And if you like it, hey, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about more stuff like this, or if you got a particular topic you want me to cover, drop it in the comments, man. Until then, I'm going to holler at y'all, man.